الله. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وحجة رب العالمين، المنتجب في الميثاق المصطفى في الضلال المطهر من كل آفة، البري من كل عيب، المؤمل للنجاة، المرتجى للشفاعة، المفوض إليه دين الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحلك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة عقيلة الطالبين زينب الكبرى، وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس، ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال سيدنا ومولانا الإمام حسن بن علي العسكري عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام: فأما من كان من الفقهاء صائنا لنفسه حافظا لدينه مخالفا على هواه مطيعا لأمر مولاه، فللعوام أن يقلدوه، وذلك لا يكون إلا لبعض فقهاء الشيعة لا كلهم. فإن من ركب من القبائح والفواحش مراكب علماء العامة فلا تقبلوا منهم عنا شيئا ولا كرامة، وإنما كثير التخليط فيما يتحمل عنا أهل البيت ذلك، لأن الفسقة يتحملون عنا فيحرفونه بأسره لجهلهم، ويضعون الأشياء على غير وجهها لقلة معرفتهم، وآخرون يتعمدون الكذب علينا الحديث. اللهم صل على. We live in the time of the major occultation, Ghaybatul Kubra. There are many challenges that we as a Shia community, we face every single day, and we have to overcome it until the time of the reappearance of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. is not an easy task. The journey is very hard. But Ahlul Bayt have prepared us, the Shia, for this. The major occultation, it didn't just happen. There was the minor occultation, and then we dived into the major occultation. That is why we have many traditions in regards to the people that keep their faith, their beliefs in this time, in this very time, and they don't lose their belief, their faith. Imam al-Baqir alayhi afdalu salati was salam, Allahumma. He says that if you keep your faith in this time, you have the reward of 1,000 martyrs of Badr and Hunayn. If you keep it steadfast, you don't change, you don't fall into abyss, you don't go astray. That's one. The second is this, the whole idea of Marjiya, al-Taqleed. We as Shia, we believe in the Marjiya. We believe there is a grand Ayatollah, if you may. We follow individuals that have led the Ummah from the start of the major occultation, because we as Shia, we see it as a necessity to follow such people. In this hadith, Imam Hasan al-Askari has outlined who are the Marji'iyya. You can't just tell whoever is wearing a amama, you can buy this from Kabramata. Go a couple of meters, well, I don't know how much you want. The bigger you want, the more you have to buy. Some they have this big one and they call themselves such and such. So everyone can wear a amama. We have many fake individuals in the communities that claim to be this jurists, these scholars. They're not. Do we have anything in that regard in this relation from Ahlul Bayt? Definitely. It's a time of the major occultation. In the time of Imam al-Baqir, alayhi afdalu salati wassalam, the Imam had a person who came all the way to see the Imam, to ask the Imam a question. His name was Ali ibn Mus'ab. Came from Qom to Khurasan. Sorry, in the time of Imam al-Rida. Imam al-Rida, Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, not Imam al-Baqir. He came from Qom, all the way from Qom to Khurasan, 1,000 kilometers. Not by a plane, Mahan Air or Caspian Air, or with a train, no, or with a car, with camels, and go from one city to the other. The whole reason for this journey was to ask Imam Ali ibn Musa a couple of questions. That was it. Now, for me and you, straight away you go to your marja'iyya, the marja' that you follow, to the website, you go to the Q&A section, and there you can find the answer for the question you're looking for. If not, you can send the office the question and you wait for the reply. Well, it depends. Sometimes it's one day or two, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a year or two. Every marja'iyya is different, of course. They give you the answer in the end of it. You sit in your comfort of the house, you type in it, it's going through, or you're using your phone, and you have all this. But at that time, they had to make this journey to see the Imam, to ask the Imam this question. So when he finished with the Imam, he asked this question, that question, that question. He came with a list of questions for himself and for the people that they live in Qom. When he finished with that, he said to the Imam, شقتي بعيدة. That means my house is far. ولست أصل إليك في كل وقت فعن من آخذ معالم ديني. My house is far. I can't see you all the time to ask you the questions that I have. So who do I take my ma'alim al-din? That means my answers, the questions that I have. Who can answer these questions for me? I live in Qom. The Imam said to him this. The Imam said to him, فقال له الإمام من زكريا بن آدم القمي المأمون على الدين والدنيا. Ask him. So in another way you can say, what was he? Zakaria ibn Adam. He was a marja'iyya of the Imam. Deputy of the Imam. Even before Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rida, there was, in the time of Imam al-Sadiq, same thing. A person came all the way from Kufa to Medina to ask a question. The Imam said to him, why did you come all the way from Kufa to Medina to ask a question? He said, I had a question. The Imam said, there are Fulan and Fulan and Fulan. Ask this question from them. You don't have to make this journey. We have deputies. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, what the Imam did, the Imam prepared the Shia for that. And he put in place the idea of Marjia taqleed. That you follow a Marjia, you ask a question you want, because you're not going to see us anymore. Now I ask you a question. Have you seen Imam with your eyes? Imam al-Hujjah, salamullah alayhi. No. Have you seen the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? No. That's why the Prophet said about you and I, he said when he was sitting in the mosque, Ayna ikhwani, where are my brothers? The companions raised their hands. Where are your brothers? He said, no, you are my companions. My brothers are the ones, they live in the time of the major occultation. They believe in me. They believe in my vicegerent. They believe in God the Almighty just by looking at some ink on piece of paper. Ink on piece of paper. Quran Kareem, do we have Quran there? Is it ink on piece of paper? Yeah? Yes. You open it, papers, ink. That's what the Prophet said. He said, they are my brothers. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إني تارك فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وعترتي أهل بيتي ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا بعدي أبدا. He said this many times before his martyrdom, before his death. Who said this? The Prophet. He said, I leave to you two weighty things. One, the book, Quran al-Kareem. Yes. And the other is my Ahlul Bayt, the progeny. Ma in tamassaktum bihima. Bihima. Both of them you have to hold them dear to your heart. You can't take one and leave the other. Ma in tamassaktum bihima lan tadillu ba'di abada. Means what? That if you hold on to these two, you're not going to go astray. Why two? Why I can't just take one Quran Kareem? Hasbuna kitabullah. Didn't the second one say this? The second one, he said this, of course, after the first one. He's the one who pushed the first one to say this. These three stooges, whatever you have problems this day in the ages because of these three. He came, he said, Hasbuna kitabullah. Which one? The first one. What's his name? Abu Bakr. He said, Hasbuna kitabullah. Now you might say it, be careful. No, it's in their books. Hasbuna kitabullah means we just need the book. That's it. We don't need anything else. And then he made it illegal for you to utter a hadith, narrate a hadith from the Prophet. Illegal. The second one came after the first one left, died. He said, you know what? You say a hadith from the Prophet, we give you a big fine, we flog you 100 times, lashes, we hit you, and we put you in jail. Of course, there was no jail as in jail like we have today. House arrest. You have no right to do such a thing. I'm saying a hadith about the Prophet the Almighty, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm not saying anything else. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'm reciting a hadith from the Prophet of Islam. You have no right. Now, why did I mention this? There is a connection. I always say something, there is a connection. I connect the dots for you like a puzzle. So bear with me. Why did he say two? He said the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, because the Quran by itself is not sufficient. It can't be sufficient, because the Quran needs someone to do what? Teach it. To open and say, this is the meaning of the Quran. Isn't that true? So who are the best people to do that? The most qualified? Who? Ahlul Bayt. Who are Ahlul Bayt? We know. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allahumma salli. Imam al-Hasan, Imam al-Hussein, Sajjad, Baqir, Sadiq, Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdal salatu wassalam, the progeny of the Prophet. They are the ones that are what? They have this qualification to do such a thing. Even the second one, he said it. He said, the most knowledgeable of all of us is Ali. No one can go beyond Ali. He even asked the Imam, he said, they ask me questions, people, they come and ask me questions, I have a problem answering it. But with you, it's easy. You just answer it without any hesitation. The Imam asked him this question, he said to him, what's 2 plus 2? The meaning of the hadith is this. That he said, what's a 2 plus 2? And he goes, 4. And whenever I read this, I go, oh, wow, he knows the answer. Subhanallah. Even for that, I wonder, does he know the answer? Or was someone there next to him with a calculator? 2, here we go. And he had problem. He said, 4. He said, did you hesitate? He said, no. He said, for me, this is how it is. They asked me a question, I know all of that. أنا مدينة العلم وعلي بابها فمن أراد المدينة والحكمة فليأتها من بابها. You need the Quran and you need the project. Now you don't have an Imam to look at, to talk to. So who do you need? You need a Marja'iyya. You need a Grand Ayatollah. A person who has spent 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of his life learning. That's his profession. That's what he does for a living. That's what they do. Today, we have people, they downgrade the Marja'iyya. I read the hadith and I can, get the ahkam myself. Habibi, if you read the instruction manual, it doesn't make you an engineer. Same thing when it comes to ahkam. The ahkam, you think the Marja'iyya, for example, Ayatollah al-Uzma al-Marja'uddin al-A'la, Sayyid Ali Sistani, when he goes and gives you a hukum, you think he just does that from thin air? He takes this hadith, this hadith, this hadith, this hadith, this hadith, and he comes to the conclusion. He says, this is the hukum for you. Fadda. I give it to you. Any other Marja'iyya, Shaykh Wahid al-Khurasani, same thing. Sayyid Ali al-Khamenei, same thing. Sayyid Sadiq al-Shirazi, same thing. Sayyid Muhammad Taqi al-Almodarresi, same thing. All the Marajah. That's what they do. We have a problem now in the community. They say, what is the whole point of a Marja'iyya? I can do it the same like they do. Read one book or two, I'm done, I'm finished. Every profession has a respect. Every profession. What do you do for a living, Hajj? You. For living, what do you do for work? Civil engineer. What do you do? Civil engineer, yes? Can I come to your office tomorrow and I can do my own thing? Would you let me? Why not? I don't have the qualification. Why? Come on, we're friends. No, not possible. Why? That's his profession. Did you study for that? How many years? 4 years. There you go. That's his profession. And I respect that profession of his. True or not true? Okay. When a Marja'iyya, I can do it myself. Give me a mic. That's a problem we have with many centers, and I say this everywhere. The last thing you do, you give a mic to someone to recite a khutbah, a sermon. Now, if someone comes here to this center of yours and says, I want to cook food for you, where is your kitchen? You tell him, you know how to do it, or you just want to do it? We're going to learn with you. You tell him, brother, habibi, it's not right. There is a mas'uliyah, there is a responsibility. We can't give you this right. Now, Marja'iyya Taqleed, he has taken this responsibility and he has to lead the ummah. Mirza Shirazi, look at what the Marja'iyya has done so far. If you look at the history of the Maraja, Mirza Shirazi, what do you do with tobacco? He stopped it. With that, because the Marja'iyya is not just, some people think it's only about for my salah and my siyam, and when is the Eid, and when is that. No. Marja'iyya Taqleed, it's the political stance. It's what else? It's the religious stance, and there is a social stance. There is this, he has to look. That's why, what are the conditions of Taqleed? He has to be male first. He has to be identified as male, not an AI. So I can't go to ChatGPT and write my hukum. What happens between my second and third rak'ah? What do I do there? Can AI, it might be one day AI becomes my Marja'iyya, but now it's not. So can I do that? So first thing first, he's identified as what? Male. Can it be female? No. Why not? 124,000 prophets, all male. One thing. Imams, all male. Female, they have emotions. Female, they go to menstruation cycle. Not male. Male, they can do that. That's why it should be male. What's the second one? Should be what? Adil, just. He can't just be someone, makes a hukum out of thin air and just tells you do that, an oppressor. No. What's the third one? Huh? Illegal age. Ahsan. He has to be baligh. He has to hit the puberty. 15 above, 20, 30, 40, white beard, big amama, beautiful. And subhanAllah, if you look at our marajah, they're all handsome. If you look at the marajah from the other side, eyes there, eyes there. Subhanallah. It's because of the iman, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. So if you look at Sayyid Ali Sistani, beauty, mashallah. Mashallah. Any of the marajah. Today, go search them. That's what we have. And if you look at the other side, the Mufti of Saudi, subhanallah. Yeah. So there is what? The political stance. Mirza Shirazi, that's what he did. Sayyid Ali Sistani, hafadahullah, not just him, other maraja, when ISIS entered Iraq, Hashd al-Sha'bi. People, you go fight. What did they do with ISIS? They finished ISIS. They know when, and that's what we have. One of the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, blessing of Allah, that we have some people like this. The marja'iyya tells you what to do. If we don't have marja'iyya, we go back, left. We become hamajul ru'a, atba'u kull na'iq. The Imam Hussein said, there are people that are hamaj. Have you seen? He's chaotic. Runs left and right. Atba'u kull na'iq. Yamiluna ma'a kull rih, the Imam said. The way, the air comes, the wind comes, he goes right, left, right. One day he's with these people, one day he's with that people. Hamaj ra'a, he doesn't make a decision and he stays with it. So marja'iyya, the Imam here says, if you look at the conditions of the marja'iyya, فَأَمَّا مَنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْفُقَهَاءِ صَائِنًا لِنَفْسِهِ. First thing, taqwa. صَائِنًا لِنَفْسِهِ. That means he has put his desires under control. I'll give you another example. Because the majority follow Sayyid Ali Sistani. Sayyid Ali Sistani, hafadahullah, if you go to Najaf to visit him, they tell you this house is not his. He's still renting it. Money that goes to him, and I'll be very frank with you, very honest, the khums that goes to him in millions. He can't buy Burj Khalifa. He can buy Burj Khalifa and he can live the highest level there. Like, where does he live? In Najaf, Shara' Rasul A'zam. You go, and he said, still, he's renting it. Sayyid al-Khomeini had the same thing. Sayyid al-Khomeini, rahmatullah alayh, what? A rental house. He has to put the desires under control. He has all that money. He can do whatever with the money. You have trusted him. When you give your khums, you trust the marja'iyya. You don't ask questions after that. You have done your part. Your part is finished. He takes the khumus and he can do whatever with it. But what does he have to do? Half of it goes to the what? Sahmul Sadeh, and the other half goes Sahmul Imam. With Sahmul Imam, he prints books, his centers are being established, TV channels, such and such and such. Yes? So the Imam says, حافظا لدينه مخالفا لهواه. مخالفا لهواه. He has put down his desires. And then مطيعا لأمر مولاه. This one, just that. مطيعا لأمر مولاه. I might say it and you say, oh, this is very easy to obey your mawla. Obey your imam. Obedience is very hard. That means you have to do whatever the imam says for you to do. It's not like last night. What did we say last night? Some people are like this. Religion is with me. That's it. Another condition is what? That of the marja'iyya that you can qalid, it has to be alive. Why alive? Because now there are many new rulings that you need a live marja. For example, cryptocurrency. If you now ask a marja'iyya about cryptocurrency, they explain to the Sayyid. For example, I had the same issue about cryptocurrency last year when, if you remember, when COVID hit, a lot of people, they entered cryptocurrency. They started downloading Binance, Crypto.com and all of that. And they started exchanging, buying Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum. They start buying this. So people start asking, Sayyid, is this halal? Can we do such a thing? So I asked Sayyid Ali Sistani's office in Qom, and I said, what is the ruling in regards to that? And they did ask me this. They said, what's cryptocurrency? Explain it to us. And I said, well, this is what it is. It's digital currency. That's what the cryptocurrency is. And they had this. Who's behind it? Well, Bitcoin, we have no idea. Until today, it's a mystery, isn't it? But others, we know. Solana has a website that tell you they are the founders of Solana, these people, that people, and this money goes here and there and there and there. So it took them time to give a ruling. And I said, well, you can bring that and you can talk about it like gold and silver. We had gold and silver. That was the way we exchanged long time ago, gold and silver. Now what do we have? Dollars, dirham, rupees. It's money. It has taken that. What digital currency is, cryptocurrency, is taking the place of the cash. You know, now Commonwealth Bank has stopped in many branches to give cash out. The governments, they want to stop that. They don't want you to have cash. They want you to have money on the computer, as in ones and zeros, in binaries. They want you ones and zeros. That's it. So they can control it. But cash, the cash is king, it's going away. So cryptocurrency, another ruling. You need a Marjia who's alive to give the ruling for the cryptocurrency. Can I do this or not? If you know who's behind it, yes. If not, be careful. It's not a form of gambling. If it's a form of gambling, it's haram. But be careful, again, because you're going to lose a lot of money. Because cryptocurrency exchange is not something that a lot of people know how to do it. It's chance. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. Can you do that? Do you have the heart for that? Then that's a ruling for the day. What other rulings do we have that we have to ask in this time and age? ISIS, for example, as I give that example. Do I fight them? I don't fight them. Yes, go fight them. Defend your homeland. Hashd al-Sha'bi, in thousands, they went out. They start fighting. This is one of the points of the Marja'iyah that leads the Ummah. You need a person to lead the Ummah, but the person who's leading the Ummah needs to be qualified for this. Not everyone can be leading the Ummah. That's why the Imam gives you what? Gives you these conditions. فَلِلْعَوَامِ أَن يُقَلِّدُوهُ. Then, if he has these conditions, he obeys his master, the Imam. He has taken the desires under control. He's pious. Then, لِلْعَوَامِ أَن يُقَلِّدُوهُ. وَذَلِكَ لَا يَكُونُ إِلَّا لِبَعْضِ فُقَهَاءِ الشِّيعَةِ. The Imam says, just few of the fuqaha of the Shia, they have these conditions. Not all of them. Today, in Iraq, we have some of the people, they come to be Marja'iyah. They're not Marja'. I don't know if you heard of a person called Sarhi. Sarhi, this is in Iraq. Suddenly he came out. SubhanAllah, 1 year his beard was black, pitch black. The next year, all white. Because that's one of the, the picture has to be all white, beard and the big amama. And he came and he said, I'm Marja'iyah, I'm a Marja'. Really? Where's your knowledge? What did you study? Who has verified you? Because we need verifiers, mujtahideen, to verify. For example, Sayyid Ali Sistani, Sayyid al-Khoi verified him. Al-Tahrani, Sheikh al-Tahrani verified him. Sheikh al-Hurani verified him. A list of maraja at that time, list of fuqaha, they said yes, yes, yes. And just Sayyid al-Khoi himself is enough to verify Sayyid Ali Sistani. Now today we have false maraja. They're coming out and they say we are Marja'iyah. You as an individual, you have to think, is this a Marja'iyah I want to follow or not? Is it wajib for me to follow Marja'iyah? Is it wajib to follow Marja'iyah or not? Wajib? It's not wajib, is it? It's not wajib. To follow Marja'iyah is not wajib in that sense that it's obligatory act by you. If you want your religion to be complete, you need to follow Marja'iyah. Because you as a person, as a civil engineer, this brother here, the respected brother, that's not his job to do what? To take the meanings of the hadith. That's the job of a Marja'iyah. He tells you, this is the meaning of the hadith. That's what it means. You might say, Wallah, Sayyid, come. You're talking about one hadith. He says, no, there are tens like that. And one completes the other, one complements the other. I have read through all of them. And now I'm giving you the conclusion of it, the ruling of it. So, and then the Imam comes to this point. So you understand the importance of it. We said Mirza Shirazi with tobacco. Sayyid Sistani and the Maraji with ISIS. This is the newest one that we saw with our eyes. ISIS, they marched into Iraq and they evolved. They went through city after city. If it wasn't for Sayyid Ali Sistani and the other Maraji' ruling, now you go to Iraq, ruled by ISIS. But they stopped this. All right. Now, let's talk about something very important. قال الإمام عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام جعفر بن محمد الصادق اللهم صل على قوم يزعمون أني إمامهم والله ما أنا لهم بإمام لعنهم الله كلما سترت سترا هتكوه أقول كذا وكذا فيقولون إنما يعني كذا وكذا إنما أنا إمام من أطاعني. What does the Imam here say, our sixth Imam? He says, there are a bunch of people, they claim to be my followers. May God curse them. Do we have people like this in the community? Yes. Why? The Imam says it here. He says, whenever I conceal something, they put it in public. You know how many doubts we have now if you talk with the youth? Doubters. Dua tawassul. This is shirk. Why? Because this is, you're asking the intercession of Ahlul Bayt. Shia. Because he listens to this people, that person, and he's taking this into account and he thinks this is it. We have some of them saying the Quran is fabricated. Shia. Again, the Imam curses these people, yes? Of course, we have the ones that say, we don't need marja'iyah, I can do it myself. I'm a plumber, but I can do that. I'm an electrician, I can do that. Because I have a free time on Sunday from 2 to 3, I can do my own rulings, mashallah. Ghulu. Ghulu means what? That you bring Ahlul Bayt up, and you put them in the level of God the Almighty, and you said Ahlul Bayt are the ones who created the universe. And we have these people right now, today, in Iraq. They say, Ali created the universe. Imam al-Mahdi, salamullah alayhi, alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. The Imam said, there are some Shia, they bring us and they put us in the level of God. May God curse them. We are abid, we are servants of God. How could you put us? Ghulu. When you follow a wrong marja'iyah, this is what you end up at. But if you follow the right marja'iyah, you can conceal, you can keep your family intact and yourself, that you don't lose that faith. Because he's the right person to lead the ummah, not the one who comes and brings out these doubts and puts them in front of you. And the Imam says here, la'anahumullah, may God curse them. The Imam is cursing them. Just imagine, Imam is cursing them. And then the Imam says, أقول كذا وكذا, I say such and such. This is my hadith, this is what I mean. Remember, إني تارك فيكم الثقلين, Quran and Ahlul Bayt. I say such and such. What do they say? فيقولون إنما يعني كذا وكذا. He means such and such. But I don't mean that. Because there is no knowledge. He's an imbecile. And yet, he comes and he says, this is what the Imam means. The Imam says, may God curse you because you say such and such. I didn't mean it like that. Because there is no knowledge. That's why if you ask a marja, he gives you the ruling, and in the end, what does he say? Well, and then be careful, be cautious. على الاحتياط, على الاحتياط, على الاحتياط means what? Be cautious. Because I'm giving you the ruling, yet I want you to be cautious with this. If you ask now, Sayyid Ali Sistani about some of the ahkam, he tells you, I don't have any opinion when it comes to that. Go ask another marja that he's knowledgeable like I am. And a'lam, tell him, ask them. For example, tatbir. You know what tatbir is? Yes? With a sword you hit on your head. How many people here, they like tatbir, they favor tatbir with the raise of hands? Don't be shy. No one? No? No? We have this every year. People come and they say, oh man, come on, stop that. It doesn't look nice. Yeah. This is the ruling. You go back to your marja. What does your marja say? If he says it's fine, some of the maraja, they say, yes, it's okay. We have come to a conclusion that this is fine. Do the tatbir. Zanjir, you do zanjir? Yes, we do zanjir. The Pakistanis, your brothers, they do it to zanjir. We Iraqis, we love tatbir. Every one of us is different. There's a way, of course, we show our love to Ahlul Bayt, salamullah alayhim. Even when it comes to Sina Zani, if you look around, everyone is different. It's the way we show our love to Ahlul Bayt. Now, when it comes to these rulings, you go back to your marja'iyya. You can't, and you have no right to insult the other person. My marja' said it's fine. For example, Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani says, go do tatbir. He's asked the Sheikh, how is this possible? You favor it? He said, yes, I have no issue with that. The Imam in Ziyarat Nahiya al-Muqaddas said about his grandfather, Imam al-Hujjah, Imam al-Zaman, about Imam al-Hussein, وَلَا أَبْكِيَنَّ عَلَيْكَ بَدَلَ الدُّمُوعِ دَمًا. I don't shed tears, I shed blood for you. So that's fine, go do that. Let blood flow from you. Now you must say, I don't agree to that. You as an individual, you don't agree to it. But you have no right in any sense to insult a marja'iyya because that's not what you like. That's not something that you have in your position. You cannot insult a marja'iyya because you don't like this or that. And people today, they insult marja'iyya like they're chewing gum. They sit down and they do ghiba, back by the marja'iyya. He's a alim. He's a faqih. He's a jurist. How dare you do such a thing? If you do ghiba on a mu'min, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges you for that. Just imagine this mu'min is a marja' al-taqleed who has spent 30, 40, 50 years of his life studying and is giving you this ahkam. Yet people we have in the community, as soon as a problem comes to their doorsteps, he says, why didn't the marja'iyya do this for me and that? First thing first, is the marja'i your servant? The marja'i is doing his part. The alim is doing his part. It's the shortcomings of us that we have come to this point. It's the shortcomings of some individuals in the community we have come to this point. It's not the shortcomings of the marja'iyya. It's not. Now, how much power does the marja'iyya have? Of course, he talks about this, he talks about that. But there are many people that don't follow it. They don't. And they come to this. So the Imam says, I curse them because I say such and such. They say that he said meant that. This is a false marja'iyya. Of course, I'm telling you, we have the right marja'iyya, we have the false marja'iyya, the fake marja'iyya. And a person has to be really alert. Which one I'm following? This or that? Because that one leads me to heaven, to paradise, because he's a servant of Imam al-Hujjah until the Imam comes. What the marja'iyya is, to put it in a simple form, the marja'iyya is holding the flag, the banner, the parcham. He's a alamdar, as you say, until the Imam comes and he gives the alam to the Imam. He says, here you go. This is your alam. But I'm just holding it because you're not here. And I have to keep everyone intact. So a person must really be careful with this. We have many doubters in the community. They come and they hit the marja'iyya. Who comes and attacks the marja'iyya? Who? The other side. The other side hits the marja'iyya because they see our unity when it comes to marja'iyya. When it came to jihad al-kifai, the other side, they don't like it. They don't. I ask you this question. Before the Quran burning, what was the number one issue we as a community were thinking about to stop it? What was it? The alphabet community, yes? Them bringing their curriculums into the schools. Suddenly we have the Quran burning. Don't you think there are people behind the scenes that want to change? So they can work on that. They want to keep doing with what they want to do with the alphabet community coming in form. They burn the Quran. And this shows that they don't care who we are. We are 1.8 billion Muslims. Yet he brings the Quran and he burns the Quran in front of the people. He burns the flag of Iraq that says Allahu Akbar in front of people. And they repeated that again in Denmark. And they will repeat it again. It's a wave going around that we will burn your Quran. We burn your book, the book of God, the Almighty. Here you follow a marja'i. What does the marja'i say? He condemns it. No, this is not right. We don't allow this. We as Muslims, as Shia, we respect your religion. Whoever you are, you also have to respect my religion. If you are a follower of Abrahamic religion, if you're Christian or Jew or whatever else you are, I respect your religion. Lakum deenakum waliya deen. Do your practice and I do my practice. But if you come to my country, if you come to my religion and you insult it, I will do the best in my power to show you that I can resist. I can show you that I can also be violent. But before we become violent, of course, we have to show that this is not right. Condemn it. And this is your responsibility as an individual, as a Muslim, all of you, that you show that you don't like this, you condemn it, hashtag. If you want to post a video, you want to write an essay, everyone can do different things. This is your responsibility. Don't think that, oh, you know what, let the Marjia just do his part. We all have to do our part. Now, how many of you has a phone here? Everyone. By show of hand, everyone, mashallah. Now, you don't have Instagram, you don't have Facebook, you don't have social media, you all have that. You can't go, takes you 5, 10, 3, whatever minutes. Depends on your internet speed, and I think you all have 5G. You go there, post something with the hashtag Quran for all. Iraq stands tall. Why? I'm not an Iraqi, you might say, but Iraq has Allahu Akbar written on it. And you show that you condemn this. No one can come and insult our religion, our book, and just go by. And now we come to the last one, and is this: if a Marja'iyya takes a step, of course, let's draw a line. Is a Marja'iyya infallible? Is he? No. Marja'iyya might take it, some here and there. You might say something we don't agree to. Of course, there are some of the Maraja, they came, one of the Maraja, 1, 2, and they, for some reason, unfortunately, they questioned the zalama, the oppression of Lady Fatima al-Zahra. Really? She was crushed between a door and the wall, and she was slapped on the face, and she miscarried. All right, here we draw a line as a Shia. And I read you this hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi afdal as-salati was-salam. من لم يعرف سوء ما أوتي إلينا من ظلمنا وذهاب حقنا وما ركبنا به فهو شريك من آتى إلينا فيما ولينا به. A person that doesn't understand what we went through and doesn't condemn what we went through, the Imam is saying here, من لم يعرف سوء ما أوتي إلينا, what they did to us, the Umayyad, the Abbasites, من ظلمنا, they oppressed us, ظلم, tyrants, وذهاب حقنا, and they took our haqq, they took Fadak, the land of Fadak from Fatima al-Zahra, they took the Khilafah, they killed Ahl al-Bayt alayhim afdal as-salati was-salam, salamullah alayhim, one after the other. If you look at the history of Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, Baghdad was built by the Abbasites, Bani Abbas. Bani Abbas are the cousins of the Hashim, of the all Hashemites, the cousins of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim afdal as-salati was-salam. They built Baghdad on the bones and the skulls of Ahl al-Bayt salamullah alayhim. Now if I come and say, did it happen? A Marja'iyya can lead the Ummah to the right path, and the Marja'iyya can lead the Ummah to abyss, can lead them to a straight path. And that's the hardest thing, because he's leading you, you're listening to him. It's very hard. That, don't you think, it's the biggest responsibility that Marja'iyya is taking. It's not a small responsibility. Some people, they come and say, well, it's just about khums money. This is the... No. He's leading the whole ummah. Whatever he says, he's accountable for this. He's accountable for it. Whether that is the crescent when it comes to the Eid or the first day of Ramadan. The people today, as soon as the Marja'iyya says to them, this is not the day, it might be tomorrow, straight away, they start insulting the Marja'iyya. And I've seen it with my 2 eyes this year. They start insulting the Marja'iyya. We have to fast another day. Habibi, there's a way. You don't want to fast? Go, travel 30, 40 kilometers, go south, go to Wollongong. Take your family with you, go to Bulai, look out, break your fast and come back. Why would you dare to insult a Marja'iyya taqleed? Because this is his ruling. And I saw it with my eyes. And I said to them, stop that. With the insulting the Marja'iyya, Do you have a car? If you don't, I have a car. Take my car and go travel. There is always these ways that you have no right to insult a person, let alone that person is a scholar, he's a marja' al-taqleed. Marja' al-taqleed. We have to be very careful what we utter when it comes to the people in the community, or judging the people in the community, or straight away. Sometimes we become what? We are the judge, and then we are the jury, and the what? Executioners, straight away. And that's what we have. These phones, unfortunately, when it comes to the phones, and we go through social media. Social media is a big problem. I see something on WhatsApp, 2 words here, 2 words there, straight away I judge a person. I see a video. You know, they have deep fake. Have you heard of deep fake? I spoke about artificial intelligence, and I told you, sometimes I forget something here or there, but I, inshallah, close the puzzles here. Deepfake is a new system, the new invention, new design, new program they made. They can take your face and put it on someone else's face. And a woman in the community, not so far community, this community of ours, she was, Mustajiru billah, a person claimed that she committed adultery with another person, and they made this fake video and they posted that. One of the people that received it was her husband. And he can tell it's fake. But this person, he doesn't know technology has come so far. So we have to be very careful of what we utter, what we say as individuals. I can't go around and judge that person, and I throw at them this term and that, and I straight away cast them away. Unfortunately, this is what's happening in some communities. Straight away, he's been in the community 20, 30 years, serving the community. Well, I read something on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram. Where is the benefit of the doubt? Imam al-Sadiq alayhi afdalus salati wassalam says, if 50 people come and they bear witness that fulan mu'min, see, when it comes to the hadith of Ahlul Bayt, you have to read between the lines. It's very careful. Even that comma, that dhamma, fatha, kasra, sukoon plays a big part. The Imam, what does he say? If 50 people, they come and they bear witness, they say, fulan mu'min did such a sin, and the mu'min, you ask him yourself, did you do that? And the mu'min says, no. You believe the mu'min. Because he's a mu'min. See the wording? He said mu'min, because a mu'min doesn't lie. That's what the Marjia does. The Marjia reads between the line. And then he tells us that's what the Imam says. There's a whole lot of tools the Marjia uses. First, he sees who's the narrator. If the narrator is verified, he's not a liar. And then he goes through the history of it, and he goes through this and this. And in the end, he gives you the outcome of it. So it's like civil engineer. I can't just come and draw the line and say to you, I want to build this and that and that. Marja'iyya is the same. Marja'iyya is, that's how hard it is. And the Imam here says, if you're a person, not just a Marja'iyya, not just an alim, they deny our zulm, our oppression, the Imam says, you are in the same boat as the people that they oppressed us. Nastajiru billah. That means if I deny, if I say, Ashura didn't happen, nastajiru billah, you're with Umar ibn Sa'd. That's why you have to condemn it. Why do we have today, until today, we have people that agree to what happened to Imam al-Hussein. You know, those people, that are like the ones who were in Karbala, who killed Imam al-Hussein, because they agreed to it. That's why we recite in Zakat al-Ashura, that may God curse them as well. Radiyat bidhalik. Radiyat bidhalik. Umayyads were all guilty of it. You must say straight, Umayyad, they didn't come, the Umayyads. It was only Yazid. But others, because they agreed to it and they didn't condemn it, they're also part of it. They're also part of it. If you sit down and you're quiet, you're part of that. You can't be quiet. You can't be sitting down silent. You have to condemn injustice. You have to condemn the burning of the Quran. You have to condemn the burning of the flag, even if you're not Iraqi. I'm Iraqi, I'm giving you the authority. Go do it. Condemn it. It has Allahu Akbar on it. We are Muslims. We're a strong nation. Strong. We are so strong. People, they don't understand this, how strong we are. 5 people here, 3 people here, 4 people here. They want to change our narrations, our religion, our Quran. They can't. But because many people are silent, this is what's happening. It's taking its toll. So that means what? شيعتنا خلقوا من فاضل طينتنا يفرحون لفرحنا ويحزنون لحزننا. شيعتنا, the Imam says, are the best of the creation. من فاضل طينتنا. They're from us. And what do? يفرحون لفرحنا ويحزنون لحزننا. What does it mean, يفرحون? That means that they celebrate in the afrah. Before Muharram, what did we have? Eid al-Ghadir. Did you celebrate Eid al-Ghadir here? Of course. You are Shia. How could I not celebrate Eid al-Ghadir? I have to celebrate Eid al-Ghadir. But from Eid al-Ghadir, 18th of the Hajj, until the 1st of Muharram, it's about 2-3 weeks. 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks and something. Yes. So from there, I'm wearing all colorful, clothing. I'm giving out sweets. Suddenly I change. Everything is black. I'm crying. وَيَحْزَنُونَ لِحُزْنِنَا. And they commemorate the death of us and our oppression. They condemn it. And they cry for us. They are the best of our Shia, the Imam say. They are the best of the Shia. There is a hadith from Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. It's a long hadith. One night I will mention it, inshallah. I have planned it for another night. I just give you a glimpse of it. It's about the crying for Imam al-Hussein, that the Prophet ﷺ says, Allah creates a new nation. They cry for my son Hussein. And for every tear they shed for Hussein, Allah gives them this reward and that reward. They burn out with that tear. They turn off rivers, volcanoes of hellfire. That's why Imam al-Rida alayhi afdal salatu wassalam says to Rayyan ibn Shabib, first thing first, if you want to be one of those people that were in Karbala helping Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayh, all the time say what? Ya laytana kunna ma'ahum fanafuza fawzan azim. That's one. In the other place, the ones that killed Imam al-Hussein, you say, may God curse them. La'anahumullah. The ones who cursed, the ones who killed the Imam. La'anahumullah. And then the Imam says, Imam, our 8th Imam, he says to Rayyan ibn Shabib, cry for Hussein. At any chance you have. You lost a brother, cry for Hussein. You lost a sister, cry for Hussein. You lost anything, financial hardship, cry for Hussein. لأنه ذبح كما يذبح الكبش. Because they killed him like a person kills a sheep. Just crying for Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam has all of these rewards. Crying. Why is it crying has all this reward? Why? Who here can tell me? Don't be shy. You can say it. Because what does crying do to your heart? Hasan. And it cleanses your heart. And by the first night I said, we are entering the month of cleansing. Like the month of Ramadan. But this month, Muharram, these 10 nights, does wonders more than the month of Ramadan. More. Month of Ramadan is 30 days. Let's say 29 days for the sake of some people. 29 days. So don't be upset. 29 days of cleansing, rehab. You entered the month of Muharram, 10 days. And the worst of all of these days, it's a day of Ashura. Day of Ashura. All Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati wassalam. The Prophet himself, he was holding Imam al-Hussein in his hand. Imam Hussein was a child and he was crying and crying and crying. Lady Zahra, Fatima al-Zahra, she said to him, oh father, why is it that you cry that much? And he says to her that I know what's going to happen to him. I know the dhalam, the oppression they will put on him, bestow on him, this ummah of mine. Just imagine, Ahlul Bayt, all of them, there is this connection with the other Imams and Imam al-Hussein. All of them, there's this connection. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdal salatu wassalam, when he goes and he wants to marry Fatima bint Hizam al-Kilabiyah, what does he say to Aqil? Find me a woman that can give me a child that can help my son in Karbala. And who's that child? Qamar Bani Hashim Abu Fadl Abbas, the Alamdar, Salamullah alayh. Imam al-Hasan al-Mushtaba, he's vomiting pieces of his liver. He's in that pain, and he looks up and he sees the Imam al-Hussein crying. He says to him, Ya Abu Abdullah, why are you crying? He says, I see you in this pain. I cry for you. You are my brother. He says, La yawmka yawmka ya Abu Abdullah. There is no day like yours, Ya Abu Abdullah. Imam Zayn al-Abidin, the son of Imam al-Hussein, he cried for 34 years. One of the people came and he said to the Imam, one of his companions, after his sister, the Imam's sister, she requested, she said, talk to my brother. He's killing himself. He's been crying all this time for our father. Tell him to ease it a bit. He comes and he tells the Imam, Abu Hamza al-Thamali. You know Abu Hamza al-Thamali, the dua that we recite in Shahr Ramadan al-Mubarak. He comes to the Imam and he says, Sayyidi wa Mawla, you've been crying for many years, 34 years, it's enough. The Imam looks up at him and he said, Yaqub, Jacob. He cried and cried and cried until his eyes went blind. Hatta abiyaddat aynah. And the Imam says to Abu Hamza al-Thamali, and he knew. He asked the angel of death, Jacob, Yaqub, is my son alive? He said, yes. Is Joseph alive? He said, yes. Yusuf is alive. He's well. He's alive. And the Imam said to him, how could I not cry? It's a big musibah, big tragedy. How could I not cry when I saw 18 members of my family on the plains of Karbala cut into pieces? Now, if a dear friend of yours or a family member of yours is on the deathbed, in the hospital, and he's taking his last breath, she's taking her last breath, how do you feel? If a person dies from your family members, you don't drink for days, you don't eat for days. Your life is changed. You don't change your clothing. You're running around. And no one blames you for that. No one says to you, why are you doing that? He lost a friend. He lost a family member. The Imam says, I lost 18 of my family members in one day. And on top of them was my father, Hussein. That I saw with my eyes, they had cut him into pieces, that my auntie went to him. When we were about to depart to Karbala, she sat down next to this body cut into pieces. Imam al-Sadiq says, more than 300 wounds were on my grandfather's body. The companion asked, more than 300, how could this be possible? The Imam, he replied, on every stab there was another stab. On every arrow there was another arrow. That's why when she sat next to the body has no head, and she looks at the body, تكدست عليه السيوف والرماح والحجارة. She looks at the body and she asks this from the body, أنت الحسين أخي? Are you Hussein, my brother? Is this possible for the son of the Prophet to be like this? أنت ابن والدي أنت حمانا أنت رجانا? Is this possible? Then she stands and she looks at the direction of Medina and she said, صلى عليك مليك السماء يا رسول الله. Grandfather, look at what they have done to your grandson in Karbala. They have cut him into pieces, and this is his head on the spear, and this is his family. They taken them from one city to the other captives. يا جدي قوم هذا حسين مذبوح على الشاطئ وعلى التربان مطروح. We also have this poem in Farsi. We say agar kushtan chira abat nadadan. They killed you. Why didn't they give you some water? اگر کشتن چرا خاکت نکردن. They killed you, why did they bury you؟ مگر عباس آب آور نداری، مگر عباس خاک آور نداری. Didn't you have your brother Abbas to bring you some water? Didn't you have your brother Abbas to bury you? لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون، والعاقبة للمتقين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحلك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. There are days left until we reach the day of Ashura. So when you say the salam and you have that tear in your eyes, raise your hand, say it with your heart and your tongue. Put your hand up. Hand up and up. Don't be shy. Don't you want the Imam to hold your hand and assist you? We want the assistance from the Imam. Salam Allah alayhi. Inna al-Husayn misbah al-huda wa safinatu al-najat. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة عقيلة الطالبين زينب الكبرى وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا حميد بحق محمد، ويا علي بحق علي، ويا فاطر بحق فاطمة، ويا محسن بحق الحسن، ويا قديم الإحسان بحق الحسين. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج، اللهم عجل فرجه، سهل مخرجه، اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه يا رب العالمين. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك. الفاتحة قبلها الصلاة على محمد وآله.